Good day. The aim of this video is to conduct a financial feasibility analysis on the investment options that an engineer has, so that you can make the most profitable investment over the course of the next 5 years. The rental income of the long-term rent phase was investigated by using differences between consecutive values of the given data, and this was then converted into a percent, the differences, and the percent was then averaged, and this average percent was used to calculate the future value as input to the FE function for the consecutive years of the rental income. Rental income with 800 Rand increase was also investigated, and this was because of the option of adding flooring to the apartment for 35,000 Rand. It was investigated by first adding the 800 Rand and then calculating the future value with the same average percent calculated. Then the rental income with 8% increase was investigated, even though this was not a viable option, as it was stated that this would not be a irregularity. It would have to happen once in a while. The levies and taxes of this option also had to be investigated. This was done by seeing the differences in costs and the differences in the periods, and mirroring these differences for the next period of 5 years. That saw a increase in the costs, which was what was expected for the levies, and the exact same thing with the taxes investigated. This was done by using the rental income and multiplying that by 12 that was calculated previously. After that, the maintenance was taken into consideration for the year and the levies for the year, and that was done by using the period and making sure that it amounted to a year and multiplying it with that rate that was for that period. The exact same was done for the interest rate. Next, the income was calculated by subtracting all the costs from the amount before deductions to give a amount after deductions for each of the years. That was then added up to give a total for the 5 years for the without 800 Rand increase. The exact same was done with the with 800 Rand increase, using the relevant information that was calculated previously, and a total income was also calculated for that. The difference between the two was calculated to see if there was a major difference, and there was quite a significant difference, and it actually proved to be that the 35,000 Rand was covered of that floor laying expense, which means that the with 800 Rand increase would be the better option, as it gave more profit. The future property value was also then calculated using previous values given in the statement. The previous 720,000 and 920,000 of the current cost was used to calculate the future cost by averaging the value of that, and the value of 970,000 was calculated for 2023's value. Commission and deduction percent was retrieved from online sources, as well as a transfer fee deduction percent and the taxable income deduction percent, mostly from the SARS website and from reliable sources. Income was then calculated, and the with 800 Rand increase option was used to calculate the rent, to find the probable income that this apartment could expect. And this was done by comparing the apartment with similar apartments on a website called Airbnb. Airbnb was searched for apartments of similar attributes, and the prices were recorded, and the availability or booking rate was investigated by looking at the amount of bookings and open dates for the next few months. After calculating this for each of these apartments, it was averaged, the price as well as the booking rate. Using the booking rate, the yearly income that could be expected for the apartment at hand was investigated and calculated. A service fee was also used to calculate the future cost by averaging the value of that, and the value of 970,000 was calculated for 2023's value. Commission and deduction percent was retrieved from online sources, as well as a transfer fee deduction percent and the taxable income deduction percent, mostly from the SARS website and from reliable sources. Income was then calculated, and the with 800 Rand increase option was used to calculate the rent option's total revenue. Next, the inflation rate was investigated. This was done using rates from previous years on SARS's website and calculating an average inflation rate. This was used in conjunction with the previously calculated yearly income of 2018 to calculate inflated values for 2019 through 2023. After that, service fees were deducted from each of the years, as well as a tax that the engineer could expect. A total of the taxable data, or the taxable results, was calculated, and that could be seen as one of the results of this option. The future property value was then also used, that was calculated previously, to calculate the short-term optional total property income. The sale price from 2018 was used. A commission rate of 7% was deducted because of the agent, and a transfer fee of 3% was also deducted. These were obtained from sources on the internet. Taxable income of 10% was also seen as the way to go. The final revenue from the property sale after deductions was calculated. The Allan Gray Balanced Equity Fund was used to get information. The Allan Gray Balanced Equity Fund was used to invest the money. Information was retrieved from their website with regards to the return percent as well as the value per month. Next, the fund payback was calculated for each of the years, and a total was calculated. The return once the fund was sold was also calculated using the return percent, and the total for this investment option was calculated. Next, financing had to be done. The prime rate was retrieved from SARS's website as well as the credit rate. These two rates were then converted to effective rates, and they would be used later on in the refinancing option as well as the credit/loan option for each of the previous investigated options. The refinancing current costs were calculated for each of the rent, short-term, rent long-term, and investment options, and these were then used to calculate the future values in conjunction with the effective interest rate that was calculated. The credit option was then used in conjunction with the costs and the credit rates of the credit that would be taken out, as well as the loan. In the client analysis phase, information from SARS's website is used to determine which tax bracket the client may be in, as well as the rate that she could expect to pay on her salary. Then the taxed salary is calculated for each of the years, as well as the total salary over the next 5 years. This is used in the summary of results with the revenue generated from each of the options to calculate the total revenue for each option. In this summary, you can see that the investment option would be the best option for the client.